Okay, so today's session is about understanding how IT issues are in the society. So what we will be covering today by social issues, we're going to look into government role in information handling, cultural diversity, and as a success factor for IT, regional and national perception of IT, professional issues, code of ethics, IT professional culture. Then we're going to look into shaping the culture development, internet penetration in every life, smart devices, social networks, managing data, and information. So when it comes to looking into what are social issues, we can now start by generalizing them, and we can look into them how this could be faced within an enterprise, where in order for them to have a well-structured system and the people that work with them able to focus on the work and work efficiently, it is important to standardize, having a standardization, which is by settling enough limit number of standards based on open system principles. So these statements can move agency and patterns towards an environment where information can be easily shared and manipulated across traditional agency boundaries. So we now standardize, we now created a way of communication where employees can now follow, and even external entities can follow, and create our MIS, which is managing information system. Also, within enterprises, it is important to have these policies. So whenever this standardization won't be followed and there are breaches, there must be policies which are going to act as a governance and need to have clear policies and share this information. So whoever breaches the rule will now know what they're going to face in and what are going to be the consequences. Also, we need to be separating operation and regulation, where what we can see is a compelling argument can be made for the development of flexible standards and policies within agencies and enterprises, like, for instance, New York State and local government networks. So, as we can see from here, it's important to differentiate them in order for them to don't contrast each other. And looking into the company, the enterprise itself, we now have to look into the individual, the subject, the people that are working with them, and how this has been diversified, and also what are the successful character that we'll be looking for in order for us to have everyone working smoothly. So as you can see, the culture of any environment will now play as an important role in IT, where people from different backgrounds, they not just bring in the IT skills, but they also bring in their whole story with them, which will now contribute to create the culture of organization. So whenever you work in a company, it's always best to do a research of what are the ideology, what are the culture, and what the company believes. So by gathering all this information, we now be a suitable candidate to fit in into the role. So culture of an environment will now predict how the people of that are alike or use things and what are the way to make things for them. Then we have also regional and national perception of IT, where basically is simply going to look into the perceptions that are very important in IT, and everything is almost related to internet, so we can't ignore regional and national perceptions. And when we talk about this regional, we basically going to be very care with for all the regions that are targeted, which will mean that we're not violating the rules or do not make any things that will have negative effect on them. So we always need to ensure that we follow the policies and ethical concept which has to be followed. Also, we have some code of conduct or code of ethics, which are simply by law, the field gaps by law, which are just going to state the regulation and how these are going to be applied. So it is a guide of principle, which will be designed to help professionals to conduct the business ethically. And also it will now state how employees are to approach different issues and how these standards should be enforced. The reason why we have code of ethics is because there are many different independent groups for IT code of ethics, where there are many different ideas about what guidelines there should be. So this code of ethics has to be a way to bring all these ideas together into one place. And obviously we are all different individuals and we all have different way to see stuff, but this guideline should standardize and help everyone to come to an agreement. So we do have SANS IT code for ethical general guidelines, which are simply going to state that I will strive to know myself and be honest about my capability. I will conduct my business in a manner that assures the IT professional is considered one of the integrity and professionalism. I respect privacy and confidentiality. Other code are the ICCP, which are high standard of skills and knowledge, a confidential relationship with people served, public reliance upon standards of conduct and established prices, and conclusively is going to observe of an ethical code. Moving on, with the IT professional culture, as we mentioned, this culture will now set value and norms, and is simply the way of thinking that will now determine the behavior. So with a professional culture, we just simply going to ensure that our knowledge, which has been used, will now preserve and will have a deeply rooted, will be deeply rooted in ourselves. Also, we have to look into organizational culture, which is seen as a source of inertia in our IT implementation. which is stated by Bob in the 1994. And this creates organizations that have one of four basic organizational culture, which are human relation, survival, stability, and productivity. Moving on, we have to look into how internet penetration could occur every day. So as we know, the internet has been, it is the most biggest way of communication nowadays, and there are various ways people can access them, legally and not legally way. And it is important that we ensure that we are safe in the internet from possible attacks. So we can see we use internet for regular basis daily life, and it will now create a worldwide highway of information and covers almost all the countries where it is available. So by internet penetration, all the fields of daily human life which have been touched by internet, where we can see businessmen can flourish their business very rapidly through internet. They can now promote the business by maybe opening a website or doing some digital marketing. And then there are students can now get academic information they require. So all the information which were on books, we can now find them on e-books. We can apply online for jobs, where back in the days it used to be from a exchanging of words, but nowadays we can apply from jobs online. We can share images, videos, media, or we can share any content through social medias. And internet has been changing everything since it has been introduced. There are plenty of examples, such as politicians can get desired information. For instance, children can play various games. So as you can see, these are now evolved during the year. And we do have also, there have been, the way it's progressed, we started with web, which was to the early 90s. And from the early 2000 was introduced the Web 2.0, where it is now accessible and loads of content can be shared. And we're now moving into the area of Web 3.0, where everything is completely digitalized and decentralized, where people can now make transactions and through cryptocurrencies. Also looking into social networks, where we can see the social network service, also social network inside. It is an online platform that is used by people to build social network or social relation with other people who share similar or personal or career interest, activity, background, and real life connection. So we know good example could be online forums or online communities where people can now join the community and post and share all the emotions, feelings, thoughts, and whatever goes to the mind. Also, LinkedIn could be a good example of platform which allows to share career insights and connect employees with like candidates with companies. Now, when it comes to managing data and information. Data management is the development, execution, and supervision of plans, policies, programs, and practice that control, protect, deliver, and enhance the value of data and information assets. So this was everything for today's session. Is there any question for me?
No, no questions.
Okay, thank you very much for joining and have a good day.
Cheers. Bye.